Hey, welcome back, Terry. With this show being called Confessions, do you have anything you want to confess on this week's episode?
Oh, let me tell you. Let me tell you about this one time. I was robbing a train, and it was crazy. Actually, wait, weren't you the one in charge of it?
Yes, I was, and
And
it
you were
was.
there, and
I
you were
was.
there, and
He pulled the old visual gag on the audio medium. He was pointing at people, folks, while he
I was
was.
pointing at the walls. I was there was no one else. There was no one
Sure,
else.
I'm sure you didn't see nothing. Yes. Welcome back to the Almost Sideshow, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Adam. That is Terry over here. And we are back with another fun, exciting, kind of an electric episode of the Almost Sideshow, a guaranteed repeat episode to listen to. This one is breaking down Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad. Season 5, episode 11, entitled, These Are My Confessions. No, Confessions is the title name. We're not singing, no karaoke here today, but we are breaking down Confessions this week.
That's why I'm here, folks.
Yes. Got to get all my bad dad jokes out of the way. Terry, welcome back, my friend. This was exciting.
Oh man,
I should start recording my reactions. That's what I honestly feel. I should start doing it.
There are parts of this episode I do remember, like little moments of like the main moments of the plot I remember, but then it kind of keeps going like, oh, I forgot that happens, and I forgot that, and oh man, this is a great episode. It's a great one.
Probably one of my. Definitely got to be one of the top upper echelons for season 5 here. It's got to be in the top 3, I would say.
And they're just ramping up. Every episode just keeps ramping up a little more. Well, let's get into it. Let's not delay anymore. All right. Our synopsis for Breaking Bad season 5, episode 11 is entitled Confessions. Todd and Uncle Jack are bringing the Heisenberg cook back to New Mexico right as Hank starts to ramp up his hunt of Walt into overdrive. He interrogates Jesse, letting him know what he knows, but also inadvertently letting him know he's acting solo and has no hard evidence. In the meantime, Walt goes on the offensive after Marie tried to trick Flynn into moving in with them again. Walt only keeps him at the house by revealing his cancer's back. Without admitting anything, he asks Hank and Marie to back off for the sake of a potentially dying man's family. When they refuse, he gives them a confession tape that Hank is the drug lord and Walt has been forced to work for him as his cook.
Dude, that was so twisty. Oh.
He connects everything to Hank, including being coerced and forced to pay for his medical treatment. A bit of new information to Hank, which also legitimizes and gives teeth to every part of Walt's twist on the truth. While Hank ponders his next move, Walt convinces Jesse to disappear. Saul calls his vacuum guy, and Jesse is on his way out of town with a new identity in a new town. Until he realizes Saul stole the rice and cigarette, which means Walt actually did poison Brock.
I knew it.
Walt has done is manipulate and ruin Jesse's life. He blows off the disappearing act, attacks Saul till he confesses, then steals Saul's car and races over to Walt's house. Walt is at the car wash preparing for the worst after a phone call from Saul. Meanwhile, Jesse is dumping gasoline all over the white residence in an insane rage. Fade to black.
All right.
Gather yourself.
Okay. I've been calling it for weeks, guys. I knew this was. I had a feeling that they had to address this at some point. Close-up magic. I kind of want to give Huel his own his own web series. You know, the Office did that for a little bit. We said when Zach was on, they said Breaking Bad did a little web series shows. Wouldn't it be awesome? After the events of Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, we just find Huel doing like close up magic, like on the streets of Vegas. I think I would be like, he's pulling a Linus from Ocean's 11, just pickpocketing people. It's great. Yeah, right. I didn't catch it at first. I was like, huh, that's interesting. And then I was like, wait a second, he had his weed in that pocket.
Well, he swapped the weed for the cigarettes.
Right. Yeah. He's like, excuse me, or excuse you, with the most awkward passing through a door jam. It's crazy.
Excuse me.
I wanted. The one thing I didn't pick up on was when Saul tipped him off to pick the pocket. That's the only thing I didn't really catch up.
Oh.
So you would think that he would have said, "Hey, do that," but it was. I rewound it. I had to rewind it. My wife didn't see it at first. So that was awesome. So we were like, "Oh my goodness, this is crazy!" And he's going to this like blind rage, and he was just when you think you're out, they pull you back in. Thanks, Todd. But that's such a great sequence of events there, and I was like, I've been saying it kind of like sporadically through. I'm like, eventually this has to be addressed, and now that it's about to happen, I kind of wish I kind of want Walt and Hank. Not Walt. Dang, I did it again. Walt and Jesse to be buddies again, but there's no way that they can be there now. I don't think. Only time will tell. We'll find out in the future. But a great sequence too is when the confession tape happened. That was another I never in my wildest dreams thought they were going to go that way either, and it was basically almost a checkmate situation there. It's like. And then having him say, "Yeah, I paid for his medical bills." He's like, "What are you talking about?" And Marie's like, "Oh, screwed. I'm screwed. That was awesome
because now the drug money
is
what paid, and you could tell Hank's just like,
"Dang it,
I got nothing.
He's got me. Thanks, Marie. You killed me, Marie."
But then Marie's like, "Yeah, and you wouldn't be walking unless I did it." So,
well. Agree to disagree, man. But also like Uncle Jack and what's his name, Kenny
Todd. Oh yeah,
are less unbearable. Like they're the way they do things is completely. Hi, Todd and Todd. Jesse, my doppelganger Jesse Plemons is back. But then Kenny, Uncle Jack here, and I guess Todd as well, have no care in the world. They're just driving a big tanker of their drug stuff through the city. Not as it's spelled.
I just park at a diner with a tank full of methylamine.
Yeah, I was like, well, that ain't gonna draw any questions. That was pretty like that. Yeah, there's no hiding that. I thought they were gonna have a way better plan than that, but whatever, I guess. But it's interesting. Todd does make that phone call as well to them. I also like the little moment where you had Walter Jr. come in and have a nice sit down. I still don't understand why they're calling him Flynn, because I thought after he had started going by Walter Jr. and in that sequence, like before he found the Gale book at the diner, I think they said that's where they switched. He was being called Walter Jr. before, then all of a sudden they called him Flynn. All of a sudden, randomly, what did I miss?
Who's calling him Flynn?
Oh, it's Marie.
Marie is the only one calling him Flynn. Why did he start getting called Flynn? Because he wanted to disown his father. Marie has disowned his father. Marie only calls him Flynn.
Damn, that's a great.
Walt called him Walter Jr.
That's okay. That makes sense. Then why isn't Walter Jr. correcting him? I don't know. Well, I guess they're not really.
Because Walter Jr. doesn't care. Walter Jr. is fine getting called Walter Jr. right now because he's fine with his dad.
Yeah, and we don't actually see those interactions with Marie. They're off camera stuff. So that's right. Interesting.
And potentially the whole time he was living there, he was getting called Flynn because he was pissed at his dad for kicking him out of the house.
Yeah, that's a very interesting detail there. I didn't think of it that way. That makes a lot of sense. Where Marie's just like she says, I'm done with him. You need to kill him. You need to, dude. That was one of the craziest things what she said. It's like, you need to commit suicide, kill yourself, let it end. Just kill yourself.
Yeah.
I was like, oh no, she didn't. Awkward dinner conversation. I just imagine if Trent was there, just coming up and was like, "Hi, you guys want the guac now, or
yeah,
are those waters too punchy for you?" That's great. There's so much to break down. I want to let you speak on some stuff too. So I'm sure we're gonna dive into a lot of stuff. So take it away.
Yeah, I had forgotten completely about the confession tape. Like that, when that gets busted out, and all the detail Walt is willing to put into it, because like as it is, like that's like the first time in all of this
out
that he actually confirms anything that Walt or that Hank has said. But he says, all right, you want it from me? This is how it's going to be packaged. And it's taking you down with it.
Yeah.
Because I know enough to incriminate you.
Mm-hmm. It makes Skylar look pretty good because she doesn't know anything until a little bit, at the very end too. So, which is a good little nugget there too, I feel.
Yeah. So like that whole thing was just, oh man. It's so good.
So good.
It's so good.
So good. I've noticed that the clothing of Maria, my wife actually picked this up when they go to the restaurant Garduno's, she's not wearing purple. Only her purse is a little purple. She's wearing a black, but Hank is wearing purple.
Oh, interesting. I didn't notice that.
Yeah, she's like, look, he's wearing a purple shirt. She's not. And it's funny because there's a couple times where she doesn't wear purple. We see her in this episode. She doesn't wear purple for the eating sequence scene at the restaurant. And she also doesn't wear purple when they have the little get together in the backyard of the White's house. She doesn't wear purple then. But every other episode, she's basically wearing some shade of purple somewhere on her. And you could probably call her purse, but those are two things I can think of right off the top of my head that she wasn't wearing purple.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another thing I liked about the confession was it started in a very familiar way. Like the first thing,
Walter White. Yeah.
The first thing we saw in the entire show is, my name is Walter Hartwell White. I live at something Negro Royal Lane, Albuquerque, New Mexico. And this is not a confession. And this time
it's not an admittance of guilt.
Yeah, and it's not an admittance of guilt. This time this is my confession. And so it's like, we're going back to the first moment of the episode. I'm recalling that scene, but now I'm calm. I'm composed. And this is my confession. And like just the callback to that, like if you know the show well enough, you know that moment he's calling it back, and then to bust this out and to say that him and Gustavo were working together, him and Gus were working together this whole time.
If that tape got leaked, it would play perfectly for them too. But like, we got Hank because he never caught this guy. He caught a wannabe guy to get him off the case, but he's always like, well, it's always here. I have this little obsession. He's brought up this obsession with Frank because they had a falling out. So he's out to get him. So it makes perfect sense how it plays.
And it makes sense that they had a falling out. That's why Gus put out a hit on Hank, and he forced him to make the bomb that he connected to Hector's wheelchair. Like, yeah,
it does. That would bring up some questions. How did he put that on Hector's wheelchair, considering he I guess they get Walter to do it, so because he was working, so yeah, that makes sense, because he built the bomb. He said he built the bomb too because that's what he wanted. So okay, yeah, that was such a great, like, flips everything on its head. So it's going to be so interesting to see how they go about that.
Then he's snapping. Now Hank's snapping at Gomi, and he's taking the afternoon off and not doing what he's supposed to be doing. So
secretary's like, you've already used a lot of sick days, boss. What's going on?
Yeah. So who knows? All right. So we're talking scenes. The confession scene was great. The Mexican restaurant was great. We talked about that too. just the showdown there and how it all went down. Then you've got
there's some great diner eating. There's some great eatery scenes in this show. If we that could be a great power rankings. We do have to when we recap the show at one point because we got to talk about that scene at Garduno's. We got to talk about them eating that awkward dinner with Skylar, Jesse, and Walt. You got to talk about that hot dog Mexican restaurant type place that Jesse goes to quite a bit. What else? Other places here?
You've got Lydia and Mike. You've got Lydia and Walt.
Yeah, and you got
Gus having
older
Walt to dinner.
Yeah, that's a great
Gus
one
having Jesse to dinner.
Jesse and Mike at a diner.
Jesse and Mike at the diner where Gus shows up.
There's a lot of great diner scenes, and just proves that might be the biggest midlife crisis moment is just going out to eat and just getting some good food and being foodies are not a bad thing.
If we're just having a meal, you've got Jesse cooking huevos rancheros for Jane.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Like you're right. There's a lot of good stuff there. All right. There's some other great scenes we haven't even mentioned yet.
Yes.
So, Hank and Jesse in the confessional, like in the interrogation room. Like
that's a good one.
And because Jesse's out of it at that point, right? He is just in a complete daze.
Let's talk about your partner Heisenberg. He's like, he did the twitch. He did what?
It's like, whoa, okay, we're coming at it with that, and I know who it is.
Eat me.
Yeah. He doesn't say anything, but he's, like I said in the summary, though, he's very observant because when they talk later, he's like, I think he's working alone because he didn't want anybody to hear what he was going to say, and I don't think he has anything. He's trying to get me to flip on you. Like that, but that whole scene and watching Jesse kind of process it all in his head and what is he going to say? And I don't know, why don't you beat it out of me? That's what you do, right?
That's a good jab. I love the line too that Hank says, he's been manipulating me for years. I can only imagine what he's doing to you. Something like along those lines. Oh, such a good. And then he's like, kind of listens to that. That's the one thing he really didn't allude to Walt when he was telling him in the desert until he's like, stop playing me. And he just calls him out, stop playing me. That's
and that was one of the other scenes I want to shout out was whenever Walt and Jesse get to talk. I mean, even if Saul was told to take a walk and is still within earshot, it's still just Walt and Jesse. And why don't you just tell me that you want this? Stop acting like the concerned father. This is all about you. Just tell me. Do me a favor.
It's like, what do you want? No. What do you want? It's not that simple. What do you want? The scene from the Notebook.
And then he just breaks. Tell me. Watching Jesse just break down in Walt's arms too, just like, he is such a mess right now. And he has no idea what he's doing. He has no idea where he's going. He has no idea what he wants. He's gotten to a point where all he knows what to do is whatever Walt tells him to do.
Yeah.
He has no ability to make any decisions for himself.
And then he saw a tarantula. Oh, heartbreaking stuff, man.
We're only out here so that if I say no, you'll kill me like you killed Mike.
Yeah. Great stuff. And then right when he said that, Saul's like, did not hear that in the background. My wife and I got a chuckle out of just Saul, like just awkwardly standing there, like not listening. He's kind of doing the thing when kids do when your siblings getting in trouble. And I'm sure you could attest to this, like when your siblings getting in trouble and you're like, and your parents are getting onto them right in front of you, and like, I'm not listening, but you're like obviously you're in earshot. It's like, I'm hearing everything. Act normal. Act casual.
Yeah.
That's exactly how he's doing.
Head down. Just kind of survive this moment.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Oh, that's a good scene there. I love that scene too. The whole scene with Huel, Jesse, and Saul is also good, with obviously the close-up magic, but him coming back in and he's like, "What do I pay you for, Huel?" just blows right past him.
Yeah,
and he gets that gun too, and just freaking most punchable face of Saul in this episode. On this one, he's like, "Hello, Kitty." Really, Hello, Kitty. His phone. It's good.
Yeah, those
scenes are great too.
All right, and another great scene, the opening scene, like Todd telling a story, like Todd recounting the heist, like that, and you can tell at that point he's like, "Oh, I have something I can brag to Uncle Jack about. Let me tell you about how we got that tank of methylamine." And
that's a good one.
And what's funny is you're listening to him and you're like, "Oh man, this is some tall tale he's got here." He's not embellishing any of it. That is exactly how it happened.
I jumped off a moving train. It was moving.
I jumped off a moving train like a stuntman. Oh, and it ran over Jesse. Luckily, he's a little guy, and he didn't mention the shooting of the kid. That's the one. That's where he stopped short.
Because I think the waitress came up at that point.
Yeah, I think what that shows, like that scene, it's to show that it's coming back to New Mexico, but I think it also shows just Todd and Uncle Jack and that whole dynamic, crime group. They kind of don't give a crap about anything. Like they're sitting openly in a diner talking about the greatest train heist in history while the loot is sitting in the parking lot, and they're openly just driving it across the border. Like this is a new level of crime syndicate that is now involved in this whole thing.
Uncle Jack is giving them a brand new form of criminal, essentially a different form of criminal.
I just love how Todd can brag about that moment, and he tells the story so well in his own little way, and I loved it.
There's so many great scenes. Every scene is important in this episode. It's great.
It's getting to be more and more like that. Okay. The Ken wins Bogdan douchebag of the episode.
Well, we got to go to Kenny and Jack here. I would think is a good shout, because obviously they are staring at that waitress. My wife was like, "Oh, gross!" When the waitress walked away, and they're just kind of staring at her, and then they're in the bathroom, and I don't know. That's a weird bathroom. He's like taking a piss, and one's combing his mustache, telling a story about punching little kids with helmets on, and what happened to cigarette lighters on airplanes and stuff like that. It's like, it's a different time. What's happened with this country? They're kind of douchebags in this one.
Every time every time I see a kid riding a bike with a helmet on, I want to punch him in the face.
That's such a. And he goes back to brushing his mustache, and being in a neo-Nazi group too. It's also that's kind of a douchebag move too. So
and there's no hiding the swastika on your neck. So
pretty much,
yeah, that's a good call. I went with Hank. The way he tries to manipulate Jesse, and then I mean, what did Gomi do, man? Just leave poor Gomi alone. Why are you yelling at Gomi? Like, that was uncalled for. And then blowing off work to go try and figure everything out, and
go back when it all makes sense. Yeah.
And I mean, understandably, he's like pissed off, but he's also not willing to listen to anything Walt has to say.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I feel like if he just stopped and listened a little bit, there's a chance something might change a little bit. I don't know.
Something would make sense.
Like, no, you're gonna get justice. Like, I don't think this is gonna happen the way you want it to. No, I gotta get justice. Like, no, we
won't have guacamole. We won't.
Or minerals.
Charlie Brown.
That's why I hate meth. It's not a mineral.
I just said Marie. I used to count trees.
This is the worst Hank impression ever.
No, I think, yeah, this is bad. It's almost as bad as my No Hank. Which Hank impression's worse, No Hank or Hank? Which one's worse?
I mean, obviously, No Hank is worse, but
because it's Borat.
Yeah,
but our this version of our Hank impressions is basically Bruce Wayne's Christian Bale's Batman. Just like minerals.
Where are they?
That's great. Okay, well, these have been impressions. That's got to be a short clip, right?
That's the ending.
It's got to be a short.
Yeah, that'd be good. That would be a good short. The Pinkman Stickman of the episode.
All right. Well, I got a couple here. So I got a 2 Stickman. I got an anti-Stickman. So you go first with one.
Okay. My Stickman is I think he's billed as, I think it's Miller Drexler as customer. I think I wrote down exact change guy.
Yes,
because I mean, he's got exact change. That's pretty awesome. But also, you notice that Skylar like is out of it completely. Like she is in this weird daze, doesn't know what's going on. And exact change. I like that.
I know. That's why I was like, the guy with the exact change. He's paying it with exact change, and she kind of found out like, oh, that's kind of a great quality in you. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, and you can impress someone with exact change. I mean, go for it. Now, Miller Drexler, he might be exact change guy. He might be the guy that called her out on giving her the wrong change. It's like, you gave me a 5. That was supposed to be a 1. Oh, yeah, sorry.
Thanks for being on. But honesty also is kind of.
I'm going to say that was probably Miller Drexler because he got billed because he actually had a line. Exact change guy didn't even have a line. He just was standing there and gave exact change.
The exact change guy is the Stickman.
Oh, wait. Maybe that's this guy. Michael Anthony Stone as car wash customer, uncredited. I think this is him.
Oh, the Stone.
Yep,
he's got stones.
I think that's him.
He's got stones.
He's actually been in other stuff too.
Oh, there we go.
He let's see here. He's most known for a miniseries called Destined Redemption.
Ooh, that says
he was in a short called Good Cop, Mom Cop.
Wow.
Let's see here. He was in 2 episodes of a podcast series called Tucson Heat.
Ooh.
And since when are podcasts on IMDb? Are we on IMDb?
One of my friends' YouTube channel's on IMDb for some reason.
That's nuts. He's an uncredited senator in Sicario.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. Okay, this guy's totally a Stickman. This is the Stickman.
Yeah, his last name's Stone. He's got stones.
Oh man, what's that picture from? All right, he was in a music video.
Oh, there we go.
With Zed featuring Ellie Dewey called "Happy Now."
Oh, there we go.
And he's a cop standing next to another cop, and there's a girl in a bikini. So
yeah,
I mean,
Stickman, bonafide
Stickman, exact change guy. Why bill him as car wash customer? It's uncredited. Just call him exact change guy.
Yeah, he is on the Mount Rushmore of Stickmen for Breaking Bad.
Yeah, he is. Right up there with the cell phone antenna.
Yeah, it's gotta be the cell phone antenna.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna throw out Trent, played by Guy Wilson, because he's totally Ryan Reynolds in Waiting in this restaurant scene. He's like, yeah, he's like, he works at Gardunios, which is actually fun fact. There's actually a Gardunios actually standing in Albuquerque, New Mexico, where they filmed this. So they didn't even have to change. Of course,
there is.
They had to be. So it's
this
awesome.
Is so authentically Albuquerque that stuff like that is going to happen.
It's got to happen. So Trent, Guy Wilson, and you look at Guy Wilson's profile picture on IMDb. The guy's decked out in tats, man. He has a chess piece.
Oh man!
And the guy's been in Days of Our Lives too. So he was in like 200 episodes of Days of Our Lives.
See, I almost made him.
He's also like probably Stickman material.
Douchebag. I almost made him douchebag.
Because that would fit for Ryan Reynolds too.
He reminds. Well, that's true. I didn't think Ryan Reynolds in Waiting. I thought the waiter at Tchotchke's that had all the flair.
Yeah, that's a good call. Shenanigans. That's the restaurant for Waiting. I was trying to think. I was like, is that Office Space or that? No, it's Tchotchke's. Yeah. That Tchotchke's is a good call.
Dude, Brian is his name. Brian, the Tchotchke's waiter. In the credits for Office Space, he doesn't even have a name. He's just Tchotchke's waiter.
Oh,
Todd Duffy. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
that's what I thought of every time he popped up. I was like, have you decided on drinks yet? You want that guac?
Make a table side.
Yeah.
Which is totally like a random thing that if let's say this is random, but if Gordon Ramsay did a Nightmare Kitchen on this place, he would say, stop. He's like, we have to implement guac made table side. We have to do it. So my conspiracy theory is this restaurant was not a great place to eat. Now it's packed. It went through Kitchen Nightmare with Gordon Ramsay, and now they implemented this table side guac, which is a new thing they pushed.
I had the guac side or the table side guac, the guac side table. I had that as an LVP because it's I think it's a sham. I've had the table side guac.
Mm-hmm.
Why? I mean, it's not. Yeah. It's no.
I've seen it's a weird thing. That's their thing that makes them unique. But yeah, it's weird when they like. You like salad table side? We'll make it right in front of you. And they just like make a salad. I'm like, no, just bring me a bowl of stuff and throw some cheese on it, and we're good. No, it's weird. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes the table side stuff at restaurants. This is a really weird tangent, but I like we're going down it. Sometimes the table side stuff is unique and special to the atmosphere. And I'm like, why do we need guacamole table side? Just bring me an avocado. I'll make it myself. if that's the case.
Exactly.
Anyway, yeah. Okay, I can see that. I respect the LVP of the guac side table.
All right, the guac side table, exactly. So Trent was my best new face.
Yeah, it's my best new face too. Anti-Stickman was the soda machine latch.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm here to check the soda machine latch. Come to find out, he put a gun there.
Yeah.
And I was like, interesting.
Yeah. Frostbite on a gun, I can't imagine makes it more effective, but
yeah, maybe turned it sideways, and it was already fully loaded, which is awesome.
Yeah. I wonder if cold like activates anything in a bullet, because that would have been awkward if it went off randomly in the vending machine. Yeah. So the latch, though, you're calling it an anti-Stickman
because it doesn't stick.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, he said there's something with that latch. I'm here to fix it because I noticed it wasn't latching last time. I was filling up the soda machine. So I'm here to fix it. Oh, okay, yeah, cool.
And if Skylar is paying any attention at all, it's like, okay, this is obvious lie because he's in complete Walter White lie mode right now. Like he takes on a completely different persona when he's going into that mode.
Yeah,
but yeah. I love how he just like drives up and then.
Doesn't that play off like it's Jesse though?
Oh no, but it's Walt's car.
Yes, but at first I was like, oh, Jesse's coming. Almost dropped an F-bomb. That didn't mean almost. It's like, crap, pump the brakes, just like Walt did. Coming in hot at the gas station or the car wash. Yeah, that was. I thought for a second I was like, Jesse's coming. Oh wait, no, it's Walt. Okay, good.
I'm kind of nervous now.
Nervous now. I almost had it made it a rated E for not everyone.
Ready for E.
Yeah.
All right. We both had the same best new face. It was Trent.
Gotta be Trent.
Tchotchke's waiter. Trent the Tchotchke's waiter. Old Joe Gomi, minor character of the episode.
Oh, but I didn't have anything down for this one.
I just realized I didn't have anything down either. I'm going Gomi. I mean,
yeah,
he shows up. He's like, dude, what are you doing following Pinkman? He's like, fine, take it off. Take it off. That actually was a good Hank impression. So I'm trying to go back to the crap we were doing before. It's like, dude, what's your problem?
Out of here. Now it sounds like Tim the Toolman Taylor.
Hank was a big Tim the Toolman Taylor fan. I mean, he had to be, right?
This episode has gone off the rails. I told you it's going to be a guaranteed repeat. So you want to watch it. Listen to it again.
Yeah, I'm going Gomi. Gomi.
It's not a bad shot. I'm going to go with the secretaries, Hank's secretary and Saul's secretary, because they're like, Francesca's is sitting there like,
Francesca and Janice, I think, are the
Janice is like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Well,
you have that 3:00.
Conspiracy theory. Is it Raimi that he was supposed to talk to? Who was his 3:00? Who was?
It might have been. I mean, if it was like a budget meeting or something,
if it was those Girl Scouts again, that's okay to recheck that. Okay,
that's true. That's true.
But she gave him a weird look, like, yeah, he's leaving, but the 3:00 looked important.
What do you mean? It's an important meeting, and you're blowing it off. Okay, yeah,
okay. Well, this is the new normal.
Cowhouse Stomach Sing set.
There's not too much in this episode either. Maybe our impressions, but Eat Me was a good one. This could be a midlife crisis saying when you think things are still called doobies, but Saul's like, you can't light up this. You can't fire up a doob up in here. You can't fire up a doob.
That's a good one. Yeah,
that's a great one. That's my.
I had Hello Kitty. Like that was a good one. Like he's in this daze. He has no idea what's going on. He just stops. Hello Kitty.
Now it would be like a Bluey phone. If it was like a Bluey phone, really?
You moved to Miami. Meet the Swedish bikini team.
Anything hypothetically to Saw, Stickman, because it's always like you can beat the bikini team. You have this massage parlor, and it's good stuff.
And then the other, it was kind of a dumb thing, but it was kind of a funny thing too. It was a great thing. It was Saul when he pops into the interrogation room. All right, so long, Rocky.
Keep your lefts up.
Keep your lefts up. Yeah.
He's like, all right, you guys, I'm gonna he said something about get the hell out of here or something. He's like, okay, I'm gonna ask you to leave or something like that. Yeah, that how he came in the room was pretty funny too. Like Saul was pretty funny in this episode. Just nothing like outrageously crazily said, but everything that he delivered, because the way Bob Odenkirk is and his line delivery is just always like he hits those notes just right for his character, and that's high war.
Did you find any problems, anything outdated?
There was a couple outdated stuff. Camcorders. I think it's kind of weird. There's a camcorder in the interrogation room. I've watched a lot of true crime docs the last couple of days with the wife, and there's always a camera in the corner of the room filming. Why is there a camcorder sitting there because he turns it off. That gives that impression of turning it off. That's why, but that's not a practice. I don't think. Well, maybe Albuquerque Police Station is not. Yeah, whatever. Ping with ping with cash. It's also an outdated thing.
Exact change.
An exact change too.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's good.
That's a 2 out of had.
I didn't have anything. This is just too good of an episode.
Minute, yeah.
Pay attention to that stuff.
Yeah.
Midlife crisis moment.
Sometimes you just need a good hug and a good cry, and it does wonders.
It's true. That is a great point.
Yeah, my wife's like, honey, it's okay to cry it out. I was like, can I? Can I have a hug too?
All right, my midlife crisis is it's a perfect midlife crisis because the young one in the situation doesn't get it, and the older one does. And it's the line that comes after Hello Kitty. And Saul's next line is, it's free. Don't complain.
Yeah. Free phone. Who cares?
Like, I can relate to that. It's free. I'm not going to complain. But Jesse's like, wait, Hello Kitty? Like, do you not get it? It's free. What's the problem here?
I guess too, it's like midlife crisis. I guess it's kind of midlife crisis, but it's more relatable sequence of when you had Uncle Jack and Kenny, and they're like, oh yeah, that's whatever movie they said. It was like, what was it, like a Burt Reynolds movie or whatever? It's like, well, he jumped out of a plane that went out a train. It's like, but still a good movie though. It's like the point, like still Hooper. Yeah, Hoop. Yeah, he's like, it's great. It's a great I'm like, I feel like that was us in Vegas. We were like just like talking movies the entire time. He's like, well, that's not the point. That's not even the reference, Zach. That's not the reference, man. But it was still a good movie, though, right? So, yes, it is. But that's not what we're talking about. That's like the most relatable conversation.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
All right. LVP. I already said my LVP.
Marie, I guess, for taking the money that basically killed Hank's thing.
A retroactive LVP.
Yeah, retroactive LVP. Well, we kind of knew that. I guess that's one of the things that we kind of knew what should have came to light at some point, especially when Hank would have got the reveal of who Heisenberg is. So you kind of had an inkling that was going to happen at some point. So having it put this way, I forgot that was a thing, and then that's one of the part of the storylines I just didn't like with him, like the mineral stuff, and then him, with in the hospital and that Marie's situation and the money situation. That was kind of this Hank storyline there is where I didn't really you kind of fall off with Hank a little bit with the whole mineral stuff because we talked ad nauseum about that, but having seeing Hank's the only thing he takes away from the freaking clip was, what's up with $177,000? What was that?
Yeah, he tracked everything, but then when I came up, I was like,
wait, what?
What's that about?
And then she's like, and then Marie's trying to bypass it by like, she's like, no, we got to do this, this, and this, and we had to tell him. And then she's like, you killed me. Like, you took money from that. How was I supposed to know it was gambling money? But you killed me now. Yeah, you killed it.
Yep.
Great.
Oh, yeah, that's great. All right, MVP. I've got a couple written down, so you go first.
I had Gardunios because it's a total like Albuquerque restaurant there. It's a poppin' place. Can't find an empty table. They have good customer service with Trent. I don't know. That's not really a good MVP though. But MVP is the camera work for the gas can. Okay. This every once in a while we get shots like this, those perspectives. I call it the Requiem for a Dream running camera because it's filmed right in front of you, and we saw that with them trying to kill the fly. We saw that with the Ryan Johnson kind of stuff with them cleaning, and we've seen it a couple times since the fly episode. And this one, it's chaotic, it's messy, it's exactly how Jesse's feeling, and it captures that moment and that energy. If they filmed it from a different perspective, like a third person perspective or a wide shot perspective, it wouldn't give that same intense moment or energy. And I honestly thought he was going to drive through the garage, but it just makes sense. He wouldn't have drove through because at the beginning of the episode when they saw, hi Carol, the neighbor, the garage door was intact. So,
point.
Yeah, so it's perfect. Perfect how it's shot. I think that's an MVP moment.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, I've got my two. I have Walt and Jesse. Jesse again. I mean, Aaron Paul every time is knocking it out of the park every single episode and running the full gamut of emotions. And this is a perfect example of it. Like, you want to see why he's so good? This episode. That's what you need to know.
Pretty much.
And then Walt, I mean, this isn't his first rodeo. This isn't his first game of chess, and he could best Gus. The way he was like, I'm gonna go on the offensive, and I'm gonna jump out in front of this thing, and I'm gonna get the upper hand. And like how much just gall and guts and balls does he have to go there and be like, I'm gonna lay it all out on the table. But guess what? I'm laying it out in a way that is going to implicate you as the main bad guy here. And even just starting it, it's like, if you're watching this, that means I'm dead. I've been killed by my brother-in-law, Hank.
Ouch.
Like, oh! That he might kill you for that.
Yeah. That was such a good way to start that out. That's a great call. There were some great moments by both of them. It's definitely a cat and mouse game that we're definitely going to see coming up pretty quickly.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to talk about what's coming up next, but first, the Walter White body count. is at 1 Amelia, 1 Crazy 8, 1 Ken Wins Car, 1 Custodian's Career, 1 Tuco Hideout, 1 Lock, 1 Uneaten Burrito, 1 Paper Towel Holder, rot, 1 Backdoor to Jesse's House, 1 Love of Jesse's Life, a few burned $100 bills, 1 Pepperoni Pizza, 1 Career in Education, 1 Meth Making RV, 1 Beginning of a Galeful Friendship, 1 Fly, 2 Kid Killing Drug Dealers, 1 Gail Bedecker, 1 Fateful Bottle of Wine, 3 Laundry Worker Jobs, 1 Walter Jr. Dream Car, 1 Pinkman Living Room, 1 Great Aunt Burgett, 1 Secret Underground Meth Lab, 1 Gale Special Coffee Maker, 2 Nameless Henchmen, 1 Tyrus, 1 Hector Salamanca, 1 Gustavo Fring, 1 Room Full of Evidence Using Magnets, bitch, a bunch of insects, 1 Sanity of Skylar White, 1 Kid on a Dirt Bike, 1 Zip Tie Around His Wrist, 1 Mike Airman Trout, 10 Imprisoned Legacy Loose Ends, 1 GPS Locator, and 1 Fabricated Confession. Because he killed that thing, man.
That's like, a good.
And Jesse's ass kick count remains at 10. He kicks some ass in this episode.
I was about to say that he kicks some ass.
Yeah, which means he gets his ass kicked once every 5.7 episodes. So, all right. What are we down to? 5 episodes left?
Jeez, already. Holy cow.
5 episodes. What's coming up? What do you think?
Okay. The showdown between Jesse and Walt here will be interesting. I think we see Andrea again. We'll kind of have to see maybe there's a long full apology about why I broke up with you. And Jesse, but I think Jesse obviously is going to burn down or do something to that house. But the thing is, I don't remember when he walked in, Heisenberg walked into the house for the ricin. I don't recall the house was, well, I guess no, the windows were boarded up. I don't recall seeing burn damage to it. So I may have to go back to look at that, but I don't recall having the house on fire. So that was interesting. It's also very lucky that Flynn wasn't home or Walter Jr. was home. It's very interesting there. Obviously there's got to be some showdown because they both got weapons now. You got Hank trying to figure out what his next play is, but I think there's no way that Uncle Jack and Kenny and Todd don't get some kind of like, hey, did you hear about that big old container of, liquid that came through town from Texas by the Neo guys? Yes, I think they get alerted to that. So maybe they get kind of like, oh, maybe that's where the gets plugged back in, and maybe Hank tries going after them and tries to figure out if the way to backdoor Walter into getting his conviction too.
I don't know. Right now it just looks like a water tanker.
Yeah, but what was there any like logos on the side that said anything?
No, it's literally the container they pulled out of the ground that had it all in it.
Yeah, that's true. It's just it looks weird. It looks weird, right? And like I can just see like you got the tail light out. What's in there? Don't worry about it. Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of it looks weird, suspicious behavior. Yeah. That could be interesting. But being alert, I think we have to figure out how that storyline wraps up too, because I think those guys will have to be brought back into it and tie into the other story. Like there's really 2 different paths that's happening. It's kind of this Heisenberg versus the DEA, kind of, or Hank rather, with Jesse thrown in there, and then they have this stuff with Todd and Lydia going on over here. So it's branching. It's all like they all are rooted together, but it's essentially we're following 2 different things. They haven't kind of connected paths quite yet in the main story. So we'll just see. But it's getting to the point where I don't want to. We only have so many episodes left where it's like I don't want to like start guess. It's harder to guess to see what's going on, even though we're getting closer to the end. But at the same time, it's like it's so good where the show's taking me in spots where I'm not like expecting it. especially the confession tape. And I think I just gotta start like rolling the camera and then get my actual reactions of what's going on. And if I can figure out a way to do that, clip it out. I don't know. I may have to do that because that would be fun to like, hey, this is how I actually reacted to it, not just me like raving about something. It'd be kind of funny. But anyway,
that would be funny.
Yeah, I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see what's going on with the what happens, man. It's truly has become like one of the best seasons. The second half of this season, we're only like 3 episodes into the second half too, which is awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
Good stuff.
All right. Well, there it is.
Well, that's all that we had for this episode, everyone. Thank you guys so much for joining us on another fun deep dive conversation of Breaking Bad Season 5, Episode 11, titled Confessions. I don't have anything else to say, so with that said, you guys have an A1 day.
Sit and spin on that one.